Mueller is Legacy's rockstar marketing queen, and she is with us today, and she's going to give us some Instagram, I call them hacks, but tricks. Jenny, thank you for being here today. You're on mute. Unmute.
Definitely need that, huh?
There you go. So I'm not going to waste any time. People don't want to see me do this. They want to see you do it. So
okay, great.
Start going.
Perfect. Well, thank you for having me, Jen, and thanks to Michelle for coordinating everything. This is, of course, an ever-changing world, right, in terms of social media. So I want to keep this to about 30 minutes so you guys have time to ask questions, and I will appreciate any questions that you guys have. In order to cover a whole social media subject in 30 minutes is almost impossible. So I really narrowed it down to just stories and how stories factor in to making Instagram successful for you as a platform. Okay, so we're going to talk about a couple different facets of Instagram stories. Of course, Instagram itself is a huge engine, and I know you guys might have some questions on that. So I'm going to try and keep it to 30 minutes. We'll be done at 11, and then you guys can fire away with questions. Okay, either in the chat box or unmute yourself and ask those, and I can go into the engine and do some digging too if we need to. Okay, so we're going to talk stories today. This is, of course, stories and reels are just a response to all the other social media engines, right? So when we talk later about reels are basically Instagram's response to TikTok, right? If you have a teenager, or you have, some of you guys might even be on TikTok, but especially if you have a teenager that is of, the age to be using TikTok, chances are they are scrolling through their phone, watching TikTok, recording TikToks, asking you to be in awkward TikToks, right? If you're a mom and you have a kiddo, you probably been in some random TikTok video in the background, but that is the Reels aspect of Instagram is the response to that. And we are going to talk a little bit about Reels. That was an issue or a topic that Michelle and Jen did want to cover. So I'm going to talk a little bit about Reels, and then just kind of allay your fears that if you're not doing Reels, it doesn't mean that you are not doing your job on Instagram or you're not being proficient. It's something that is just a comfort zone thing, right, for people, just like some people post daily on Facebook and some people don't. So without further ado, I do want to share this with you guys. This slide here is somewhat telling as to what happens in an internet minute. And this is 2019. So stats are a little different for 2020, right? And things are slow to be released this year, of course, because of the pandemic. But we'll have 2020 stats probably, I would say, within the next couple months. Usually it's March, but we don't get them. We haven't gotten them yet. So this is 2019, changed a little, right, with the pandemic. But you can look here at all of the different things that are happening. So Instagram, you'll see the icon here for Instagram, and you'll see scrolls. You can see how many snaps were taken, how many posts were made, how many videos were watched, people logging in. Really just an important way for you to see how much action is happening on a social media channel or across the social media spectrum. And know that when you don't get the response that you want on your post on Facebook or your post on Instagram, know that people are being infiltrated with millions of different types of data from every different engine every second of the day, right? So our brains are about to explode with social media content. And it's important to just realize that when you're trying to gauge and look at analytics for what's going on your social accounts. This is a really important thing for me, and I think it should be for everybody as far as branding. So branding is how someone can walk into a room and know what brand is Coca-Cola, or if I go anywhere and I look at an ad, it should be universal, right? Everywhere that I see Legacy, it should be our Legacy Grand Purple. If you look at Jen's brand even, it's still the purple Legacy, right? It still has the aspects of the Legacy brand in it. So in keeping your story, your Instagram story, and your Instagram itself to fit with your brand, it's important that you pick a theme and you stay with it, right? So you want that logo appearing on everything. If you'll notice here in the highlights section, which this is the highlight section, we're going to jump in the engine here in just a second, but I think everyone knows what highlights are. Those are the stories that have been promoted to stay for longer than 24 hours, right? Because if we post a story, it only stays for 24 hours. In order to make that story stay on your Instagram, it has to come up here and be a highlight, meaning it stays forever on your Instagram until you delete it or edit it. These stories, as you can see on this account, have even been branded to be the same color, the same background. We've done the same with Legacy. So I'll show you Legacies real quick just so you guys can see what that looks like. If I can find the button here. I It keeps putting me in that place. I don't want to go there. So this is legacies. As you can see, we have branded ours at the top here, and we did it by our locations. And then at the end, we have a Spanish site here. We need to make one for Grand Junction, and there are a couple of branches that we don't have one for yet that we'll be adding here. But as you can see, we went in and we added these legacy-fied, right? Iconic with our brand.
And we can't see the legacy one.
Uh-oh.
That's okay.
I'm glad you said something. Let me make sure that I am sharing that screen for you guys. New share. Let me know if you can see it now.
Yep.
Yes. Okay, good. So this is legacy. I'm sorry, I'm switching between two screens here. So this is the legacy page. As you can see, we have branded ours to where it's the legacy purple, and it does have the different branch locations. We've gone in and created a little icon for each of these. Same thing as, let me move my share back to the other so that you guys can see the PowerPoint again. We're gonna go back to the PowerPoint. So just as this brand here, this Go-To Skincare has branded theirs with the pink look in the background, and they have everything that they've posted. So here's their feed, right? This is their account. This is their feed. And then this is an example of a story that they've posted. And notice that they use that same pink color for the background of their story. Everything looks universal. So when they're going through adding different elements, whether it's a reel or a story, they're keeping with that same branding theme. So anywhere that someone was looking at Go-To Skincare, they would know to look for pink with that color and that G icon on there, okay? Any questions on that? If you do have a question, feel free to type it in the chat box, or you can save it for later, but just make sure that you are building in that branding on the back end of whatever facet you do on your Instagram. Another thing real quick to mention here is ensuring that your contact information is front and center. So most people, of course, put it here in the description. Another cool way that I've seen it done recently is a lot of people have electronic contact cards that are made by either an icon or something that they have used. You can put that here as a highlight, right? Contact me or ways to get in touch with me. And you can put that as a highlight on your profile here if you run out of information. Maybe you have a QR code. QR codes are really popular, and you can make your contact card into a QR code. You can post that here as a highlight on your Instagram, okay? Moving forward with more things about stories and posts. These are just some quick tips for your story to get noticed, or for people to not just swipe, right? You're going through and you're swiping through stories, and you want them to stay on your story and watch the whole thing. You don't want them to exit after the first round. So in order to do so, both on your feed and on your story, we want you to do some things that would be more like a call to action. So a lot of people are just passive voice, right? They'll post something and it's, I'm Jen, I'm a great mortgage lender. I've been doing this forever. I have amazing success. And we tell you nothing about what your call to action is, right? Like, rates are super low. You need to refinance now would be my call to action. But we forget to put a call to action in there. So we're talking in passive voice, right? We always want to be talking in active voice, asking them to do something with the story or the post that we're making. So here where you see the need, you help them see the need. This is a vacation post that was made. This one here gives us the idea of the using active language and tagging someone or asking someone to encouraging the interaction, right? So I can't always make people do something from my post, but I could say something to the effect of, do you know someone who needs to refinance? Tag them in the comments below, just so that we're getting them to take some type of initiative or do something with the post itself instead of just watching it and regurgitating it, right? This doesn't have to create a sense of urgency thing, right? Because it's not time sensitive unless you're really thinking about booking a vacation and you happen to scroll through here, then it's time sensitive in your world. But time sensitive is great if there is a limited time offer that you have running on something, okay? So make sure that you're using that. This is a great example of tagging. This also displays the aspect of, if you are using a photo from someone else, always make sure you give them credit. And you do that in both story and in feed. So if Jen had a photographer come and take some really great shots, and then that photographer happens to post them on his or her photography account, if Jen went and reposted that image, we're going to want her to give credit to that person, right? It's almost like a copyright notice. We want them to make sure that they are getting that type of credit for whatever content they posted. Okay, moving forward again, this is actually Dan, our CEO, with one of our loan officers in Golden for a presentation that we have. And I loved it. It was a story that I had posted a while back and happened to have saved it to my phone. And this just demonstrates the facets of what makes a great Instagram story, right? So we're using active language. We're saying get a loan or refi in Colorado with this guy. Has a picture of him, right? So we don't have to do a branding of his face anywhere. I added the legacy logo here up in the corner and just put rock stars in action. And then down here, you'll see that we use layman's terms, right? So a loan or refi, we want to be really careful with putting anything on our story or even in our feed that is going to alienate someone who might not know what FHA or VA or any of those, acronyms that we use in the business. Try and keep it in layman's terms, but also use power words, things like get, see, use, things that are going to make people take action, right? So here we've used get a loan with this guy, see the link in the bio. And then you want to always be reachable, right? So your goal is that when someone's watching that story, if they do want to take action, they have a quick and easy way to get to the places that they need to take action. If you see the link in Grover's bio, which I tagged him below, the link in his bio will take you directly to his website. So you can get all the information that you need right there. Be reachable, make them not have to dig for information or contact information for you, okay? All right, moving forward. So when you guys watch this and get the PowerPoint, I did embed in Instagram stories and how to use them here. This is a really cool step-by-step instructional guide. I'm going on the premise that a lot of you know how to do stories already. So didn't want to go through the redundancy of showing you how to create a story, more so talking about why it's important. But there is, if you need a how-to guide or if you just need a refresher, maybe there's a link here in the presentation that you guys will receive and you can click on that and go and watch exactly how to make an Instagram story post, okay? Why do stories matter? So there are so many things floating around out there. What engine do I use? Do I get on TikTok? Do I use YouTube? What if I don't know how to do all these things? Chances are you're not active on every single channel or every single network. If you are, kudos to you, because that's a lot to manage, right? We still have to do our real job stuff. But Instagram has over 1 billion monthly active users, and 86% of these people are using stories. So when stories first started, people were still a little antsy about it, right? They were still posting to the feed, but they weren't using stories as much. Now with Instagram having all of these new features and people finally getting used to using stories, you can see that almost 90% of people are using stories and they're posting them daily, right? So that's just a factor of people being able to quickly and easily take a photo and post it to their story or share a memory or do something. According to a study conducted by Instagram, 39% of respondents are more interested in a brand if they watch a story that it has a feature on it, right? So, if you are a brand or a product that is just using feed and you're not using stories and reels, I urge you to reach out and expand your creative bloom, right? And say, I can do this. I might not be great at it at first, right? The best part about Instagram stories is if you don't like it and it doesn't come out right, you can delete it. No one really will see it, the chances are. So if you haven't done them and you need to get comfortable with doing them, practice in your office or do something to engage with that second sector of the public that is looking for an Instagram story to watch. And consumers don't just look at them either. They're taking action from them. So this is what's important to a brand. If I was just a person that's saying, well, it's just another thing I have to add to my day, they're not even taking action from it. They're just watching it, right? They're not just watching. It's not passive. They're taking action on that brand story, especially guys, if you are making the story have those features that we just talked about. You're making yourself reachable. You're giving them a call to action. You're giving them some reason why they need to interact with you on that Instagram story. Okay. Another, sorry, a little bit text heavy slide here, so I apologize, but these are all very important things that really matter. I think people ask all the time, when do I post? What's the magic potion on what time of the day I post where the most people are going to see it? And I wish I had just a silver nickel where I could say, yes, this is exactly the winning time that you're going to post. Now, there are times where there are more people on your feed, but what you also need to remember is that it matters what your feed looks like versus what Michelle's look like. So my feed might look completely different than Michelle's or Jen's based on the followers that I have. So you have to look at your followers on your account and you have to analyze it from there. there's a really easy way for you to look at your insights and tell what your followers are doing and when they've engaged with you the most. Okay. So here on when you see how to see when your audience is most active, in the back end of your Instagram, we're going to jump in here in a second. I'm going to show you guys on my phone. I'm going to hold it up to the camera and show you, but there's an audience tab and you can scroll down to followers and you can see what peak hours or times of the day your followers are most active. That is something for you to look at when you're trying to determine what the best time for you to post is. It's going to be different for me than it's going to be for Michelle or that it's going to be for Jen, because my Instagram feed has different followers than they do, right? So there's not a winning number or a winning time to post, okay? Each visit to the platform lasts about 6 minutes and 35 seconds. So you have a small amount of time to capture someone's interest, right? That means your story has to be great. Your feed has to be great so that they can see that. This is one that I get a lot of questions on. Hey, how many times per day do I post? The average business posts to their feed 1 time a day, okay? I have people that say they want to post 2 times a day. I recommend you maximize both morning and afternoon traffic then, right? So there's a sector of the public that gets on at the end of the day after the work day. Maybe they don't have access to their phones. Think about nurses, doctors, teachers, people that don't have access to their phone during the day. Those are the active users in the evening that you would be hitting. If you had made a post that morning at 9:30 and they didn't see it and you made one at 10 o'clock that night, chances are they might see that evening post, okay? So think about varying your posting times based on the demographics of the population that you serve. Okay, let's see, let's get into some fun stuff here. So let's go into Reels, and we're gonna talk real quick, no pun intended, on if they're really a pain or they're really proficient. And here's the number one question that I get. Do I have to try it? It's so scary. Reels are 15 to 30-second video clips that you can set to music. You can share them to your stories, the Explore feed, which is where people go in and they look for stuff that they might not be following that they want to follow, or to your actual profile, right? There's a place for you to post Reels to your profile. Reels are great if you feel comfortable doing it. If not, your authenticity is compromised, right? If you are just a person who doesn't like to be on video and you don't like to post videos, that's just something for you to think about. Don't go outside of your authenticity in order to post a video. Maybe you should employ the help of a brand influencer or someone that is in the industry that has knowledge that you can do a tag team with, right? So maybe Jen sits down with one of her her insurance partners or one of her referral partners, and she does just a talk between the two of them, or she grabs them for, hey, can you record something that you love? Give a testimonial about my service. That's employing the help of somebody else because you know Reels are important, but you don't want to do them yourself, okay? So think about that whole influencer or brand influencer that you can utilize if you don't feel comfortable doing it yourself. What are they in layman's terms? Like I said earlier, it's basically a direct response to TikTok. So TikTok, of course, took the industry by storm, and Instagram said, we got to do something in order to combat what TikTok is doing because they're pulling users away from us. So they created Reels. Reels are basically the same thing as what a TikTok would be, and they just go into a different feed. The benefit for Instagram versus TikTok is that TikTok doesn't really have another platform that they're launching already successful off of, right? So Instagram Reels are very successful because they already had such a big customer base. That would be like Walmart creating a sub-series of another product and it being successful just because it's built off of Walmart, right? That's the virtue of the mothership and giving some light to something else that would be successful just because of the mothership's presence. So that's what happened here on Instagram. That's why Reels have become so important. So without further ado, I'm going to show you guys this because I think this is a great video that explained it really quickly and easily. I'm just going to press play and I'm going to let you guys watch this video on how to use Instagram Reels. She goes through everything. It's a very cool video. So I'm going to press this and let you guys watch. I'm going to hope that it comes up and make sure I'm sharing the right thing.
Hey everyone, I'm Jess from Later, and today I'm going to be walking you through everything you need to know.
Oh, there you go.
There we go. I'm going to start over again so you guys can see it. Sorry, I had to switch screens, Michelle. Okay.
Hey everyone, I'm Jess from Later, and today I'm going to be walking you through everything you need to know to post your very first Instagram Reel. So what is Instagram Reels? Instagram Reels is their latest video feature that allows users to film up to 15-second video clips set to music on Instagram. The latest video feature is available in Brazil, India, Germany, and France, and with its most recent announcement, the United States. Instagram also promises a rollout in additional countries in the coming weeks, so stay tuned. Well, with that, let's get right into the video. If this concept sounds a little familiar, you're not that far off. Almost everyone is comparing Instagram Reels to TikTok. So here's a look at Instagram's top Reels feed. It's a separate video feed where you can see videos from all accounts on Instagram, even those that you don't follow. To get started, we're going to open up the Instagram app on our phone and then tap right into the Explore page. As you can see, there's the big video with the Reels icon in the bottom left. Go ahead and tap on the video. So now we are on Instagram Top Reels feed. If you've ever been on TikTok, this is very similar to TikTok's For You page. As you scroll through Reels, you can interact with the videos just like you would with the regular feed. Double tap to like or tap the heart in the bottom left corner. If you want to leave a comment, just tap on the voice bubble right next to it, and you can also have a scroll through and see what other people have to say about the reel. And tap on the paper airplane to add the video to your story or direct message it to friends. If you see a video you don't like, tap the three dots in the bottom left corner and let Instagram know that you don't like it by tapping Not Interested. While the Reels algorithm hasn't been locked down just yet, it's likely influenced by who you already follow, what content you interact with, what you're interested in, and where you're located. If you see a video with a song you want to use, simply tap on the song underneath the caption. You'll be brought to this page, and when you tap Use Audio, you'll be able to create a reel using that music. Now it's time to make our Instagram reel. So you're going to want to go to your home feed and swipe just like you would to add an Instagram story. Then we're going to scroll over to the New Reels tab. Once here, this is where we're going to edit, film, and upload all of our video clips. Let's walk through all of the editing tools together. We can see how Instagram has audio, speed, effects, and timer tools to the left of the screen. Tap on audio to access Instagram's music. Here you can see the suggestions, and you can also hop on over to the Browse tab and search for a specific genre, artist, or song. So once you've selected a song, then you can go back and choose what part of the song you want to use for your reel. Next, tap on the play button to adjust your video speed. Here you can see you can make it fast, slow motion, but we're just going to keep it regular speed to keep it simple. Just like on Instagram stories, you can play around and use different effects on your reels. So you can use any of your saved effects, or you can scroll to the end and tap on Browse Effects here, search through Instagram's effect gallery, and pick one from there. Or you can just use one of your own. We're going to use Beach Tan Camera. Lastly, tap on Timer. This is where we can set the duration of our first clip by dragging the timer just like so. Let's make our clip 5 seconds and then select Set Timer. When you tap Record, you're going to see this 3-second countdown. And now you are recording. So it will go for the 5-second duration or whatever duration you set it to. Now that we have finished filming our first clip, we can review it by tapping the back arrow to the left of the record button. Here, you can trim the video or trash it if you're not happy with how it turned out. Now it's time to film the next clip. Instagram wipes your previous settings, so if you do want to use the same ones, you do have to go and input it all in again. We're going to start off with our speed, then our effects. We want to keep the same one, and then lastly, our timer. We are going to go ahead and set our second timer to 10 seconds and then tap Set Timer. If you're happy with all your settings, which we are ready to record our second clip. So I'm just going to get into position, tap Record, and then I'm going to see that same 3-second timer. After you finish filming your second or last clip in this case, you can tap the back arrow again and trim or delete the clip. All right, and there you have it. Our filming is complete. Similar to Instagram stories, you can use the draw and the text tool, and you can also choose from a number of Instagram stickers. Tap the sticker icon in the top right to select a sticker for your reel. Let's go with the heart. Then you can get creative by using the draw tool, select it, and draw on your reel just like you would an Instagram story. Add text to your videos by selecting the text tool. Position the text on the screen where you like it, and then use the slider at the very bottom to actually select the duration for how long you want the text on the screen. When you see faded text like this, that just means that that text is not going to be in that clip in the finished product, so don't worry. Now you can play it back once more to make sure you're happy with the finished product, and if it's looking good, tap the next arrow in the bottom right. Captions are everything. So we're going to go ahead and write a short and sweet caption with a few hashtags and then go ahead and change the cover photo. To select a cover, tap on the cover and then either choose a frame from the video or upload an image from your camera roll. We're going to choose this frame and then tap done. Share your reels to your Instagram stories by sliding over to the stories tab and then selecting your story. Your Instagram reel will automatically share to the Explore page and the Reels tab on your profile, but you can also choose to share it on the home feed by selecting Also Share to Feed. Once you've decided, go ahead and tap Share. And that's it. Now we just wait for it to upload. And there you have it. Your masterpiece is up. You can find your reel on the new Instagram Reels tab on your profile right here. Thanks so much for watching, and we really hope this tutorial helps you. We can't wait to see what you create on Instagram Reels. Make sure to like, subscribe, and follow later on Instagram to stay up to date with everything Instagram Reels. See you next time.
All right. So was that helpful to you guys? I hope that kind of summarized, that was the best video I could find that summarized everything all together. Let me go back to our slideshow here. New share, switch back. Okay. So I thought that was the best way to capitalize on everything that you could possibly think of to add to a reel, right? If you haven't done a reel, if you haven't done a story, I would start with a story. That's the first facet. Do a story and then progress to a reel, because a reel is basically a story in video mode that you can add a bunch of different features to, right? And then it goes to a different place on our Instagram. So a little bit more about reels here, and then we'll finish up. In summary, it's just another way to grow your community, right? So just like with Facebook, if I'm only posting to my feed on Facebook, there are certain people that are looking at my feed. There are certain people that might not ever see my feed. Remember that facet of I'm on Facebook and people post things and I never see their stuff until I go into the search bar and I type in their name and they're my friend from high school. And now all of a sudden I know that all these crazy things have happened in their life, right? I haven't seen them even though they're on my Facebook. The same thing happens on Instagram, right? So we want to make sure that we're utilizing all the different facets of Instagram in order to attract people that might be watching in a different way. So if I'm on Instagram and I'm only posting to the feed, I'm hoping that I get that person that's scrolling through for hours on end, right? That might see my photo. Maybe they're just a story watcher and they pull up their stories at 10 o'clock at night sitting in bed and they watch the stories. If you don't have a story there, they're not seeing you, right? So infiltrating different ways of people watching social media is the best way to reach the maximum audience, okay? 3 ways that you can use Reels in your marketing strategy, and I think I already talked about this a little bit. Create authentic content. Guys, be authentic to what you are, who you are, the brand that you sell, the type of way that you sell. Don't go outside of your authenticity in order to try and make a facet of a social media engine work for you. It just sells you out, right? Share educational content. This is a great one. So how-tos, just like we're doing here today, right? So Jen decided about a year and a half ago that she wanted to do a grand marketing scheme with social media, and she's knocked it completely out of the park. But this is just another way that she's sharing information by virtue of partners and people that she works with, and to give people more information. It's a how-to, right? But it's not something that she has to teach every single time. This is a great way for you to employ your partners, right? Get them on a quick clip and tell about an insurance product they might have information about, or how the real estate market's doing. Do something to employ your partners in order to give more how-tos, Tuesday tips. Guys, do inspirational posts, right? Those are great for Monday motivation. And then behind the scenes footage is a big one that's really happened a lot with this whole COVID thing, right? So people are doing the work from home and we're doing behind the scenes, like what's really happening on a day on the job. And then showcase your products, right? So new or old. If it's something that you haven't used in a while or you haven't shown people in a while and it's making a comeback, make sure that you make a video about that. Showcasing products is a big thing. Services, documents that you might use. Maybe there's a new form that they're going to have to fill out when they do a loan. That's a great thing to showcase to people and show them how to use it, okay? Hotspots are great for you realtors that are on. If you are trying to sell a property and there is a certain facet of that just makes that house sellable, more sellable, right? Right now it's a seller's market, so we don't have to do any of that, but rewind back to normal times. Maybe it's a neighborhood facet. They have a really cool amenity center, or it's a great location super close to the freeway. Show that to people with a story or a post or something that chronicles what is the interesting feature of that home that would sell it to whomever might be watching, okay? Well, I'm at 11:02, so I'm at exactly 30 minutes. I set my timer because I can sometimes be long in the tongue, and I want to give you guys a chance to either ask questions in the chat panel to let Jen wrap things up, or for us to do anything if you want to verbalize your as well by unmuting yourself. I'm happy to field any questions. Jen has a question.
Hey, so, okay, so I just don't think about this stuff during the day. I've got Michelle to help me, but we're about to pay monthly to have, I'm going to have a professional person that knows what they're doing. I mean, not that Michelle and I don't, but God, there's so many other things to do. So my question is, when I've got someone they're going to do like 8 to 10 posts for me, and what can an outside person post on your reels and your stories too, or does that have to be authentic coming from you?
They can, absolutely. I think there's an important, I need to sit down and have a talk with this person and let them, fuel my brand and give them everything they need to know to fuel my brand. But there are a lot of people that employ a third party type of freelancer, or even I've seen some of my realtors that I've worked with even use their high school or college kids, to help them with things, because they just don't have, like you said, have the time, or they don't have the energy. They just don't know how to do it. I think it's very important that they know your brand, Jen, that they sit down and they look at a bunch of your footage. They look at these type of things. They have a talk with you. They get an idea of what you want portrayed in all of your stuff. But yes, someone else can absolutely do it. They just need to be kind of immersed in you and your culture and what you're all about before they start. You just give them your login and your credentials, and they can look like they're behind the scenes doing it just like you were doing it yourself.
So in like extending that, I'm going to have to put in my calendar to also do that myself. I mean, that's the thing, is I've got to do it and I'm not. So my question is, so when I go to Instagram or Facebook and I look at the stories, I actually look at the stories before I look at the feeds.
Okay.
And there's some people I see a ton. Like when you keep clicking, they've got like 13 in the last 24 hours, and some people not very much. So like, what's too much and what's too little? Like,
that's a great question. A great question. So if you see that people are looking daily, right? It's age group specific, based on if you are an 18 to 24-year-old, you're getting on Instagram 4 or 5 times an hour, right? I try to limit the amount of stories per day to 5. That's just a personal in my head. If I post more than 5, that's more than about a minute and a half. People's attention span, as you can see with most videos, attention span starts to fall off right below 2 minutes. So a minute and a half is my threshold. And if I'm posting something that is a story and they each have about 15 seconds, then that's putting me, if I put 5 of them, that's putting me right at about a minute, right? So I try and keep it at that. There are people that will post 20, but here's what happens. I don't watch all 20 of them, right? So if you have that many things to talk about in a day, split it up on what channel you do it on, right? So put some on Facebook, some on Instagram. It doesn't always have to be universal content. You don't have to share one Instagram story and have it also share to Facebook. Maybe you just want it to be on Instagram so that most people have both.
Because usually I just like to shortcut, and I'll start it on Instagram and it'll post to Facebook, and then I'm one and done.
Correct. And you can, but I'm saying if you would like to post more content than what you feel like people might make it through, you could post some to Instagram and some to Facebook, and then you have a different audience seeing those things. It's just, I know I get the whole wanting to do it all in once, right? I post to Instagram, I click share to Facebook, and it's done for the day, right? But if there's a lot of content, chances are most people, about 90%, guys, of people have both Instagram and Facebook. So if they're not seeing it on one, they're seeing it on the other. It's all based on their feed.
Didn't you tell me one time that the type of person for Instagram is a younger audience, more fun and whatever, and then the more serious is Facebook? Or am I messing that up?
You're not wrong at all. It's changed a little bit in the last year or so, just because people have more time, right? So when they're not sitting in an office, and with this whole work from home and COVID chaos, it has changed a little bit. But the prime demographic for Instagram is still 25 to 34. So that's still the majority of what I feel like it could be first time home buyer, right? But it's still people that are in our demographic of what we're selling. The Facebook audience is varied. It depends on what element of Facebook you're talking about. If you're talking about just the scroll people that are looking through and they might look for a business page, yes, it's a little bit older audience or a demographic that is saturated on Facebook. So hence the reason we need to use both, right? That's just and some people prefer one network over the other, right? Some people like Instagram better because they like the filters and they like all of the things. And some people like Facebook because they want to get on there and write a huge rant, right? Or they want to share content. So if you're sharing an article, Jen, like say you did a YouTube video and you want to share that, the easiest way to do that is on Facebook because you can't share an active caption on Instagram. So sometimes the content itself determines where we're going to have to post it just based on what type of content it is.
Gotcha. Well, I don't want to hoard all the questions, everybody.
Yeah, I think I see a question.
Make sure do we have anything in chat? No, because I have more questions. I've been writing them down frivolously over here. So what's a good way to get more followers on Instagram?
Good way to get more followers on Instagram. Well, hashtagging will definitely help you. So if you are, Michelle, I see your question. I want to make sure I address it. Am I doing something wrong? Turn off the screen so we can see your.
Oh, just take off the share screen so that we can see your pretty faces while you're talking.
Like that.
That's what I want to see.
Okay, good. Okay. I wanted to make sure I was doing right. Okay. Back to your question, Jen. Yes, there is a great way to increase your followers. One, it is to go yourself and do a little bit of investigatory research by going to the search bar in your Instagram or your Facebook and searching for things that you're interested in and going to follow those things. Just by virtue of doing that, when you see someone follows you, like on your business page, if someone goes to follow you, you usually go back and follow them. On Instagram, the quickest and best way without buying followers, because you can buy followers on Instagram. If you're trying to get to 10,000, because 10,000 is where you can use the swipe up with the website link, right? That's the epitomal, like let's get the Mecca is 10,000 followers. But I don't in any way, shape or form ever, I just don't think it's a great idea. I do not recommend you buying followers. I recommend you doing it organically by adding hashtags to all of your posts that people might see the content without being subscribed to you or by following you. So you could add things like hashtag loan, hashtag mortgage, hashtag home buyers, hashtag real estate, hashtag investment property. That way, if I, for some reason, have followed the hashtag of investment property, and you tag that in your video, when I'm scrolling through, I'm going to see your video even though I do not follow you. So a great way for you to pick up extra followers that might be interested in your content, but they just don't know you as the person themselves, is to add the hashtags that relate to whatever content you're posting. So that's a great way to do it. Another way is just to go into the feed. So if you saw on the video that the young lady did, she said the explore area. She kept referencing the explore area. That would be if you get on your Instagram and you go, there's a little world at the bottom. And it's not your feed. It's not all the people you follow. It's the whole world of Instagram that is part of the engine. If you click on that little world, you can just scroll through and see things that you might want to follow, people you might want to follow. Great way for you to see what else is out there. And then, of course, when you start following those people, they follow you back. That's a great organic way to do it. There isn't any winning way to do it other than I also recommend that if you are active on Instagram or you are active on Facebook, that you let everybody know on every marketing piece you do. So if you do an ad, you do a business card, you do a flyer, you do a mailer, everywhere that you do any type of marketing, you put, please visit us on, and put the Instagram and the Facebook icon. It should be that people just automatically think, oh, let me go to her Instagram or Facebook, but think about that older demographic that isn't used to just going to search for you on a social media channel. You have to put it in front of them in a way that they process it. Put it in your e-blast that you guys send out. Put it in any type of communication that you send out, even your signature block on your emails at the bottom. Please interact with us on Facebook or find us on Instagram. just so they have a continual reminder of all the ways they can find your channel.
So then a maintenance thing that you've got to do. So even if I'm having someone help me with the posting, then there's the commenting, like going through Instagram and seeing who's commenting on your stuff. And I know it tells you that you follow them or not. And then you can click on the button, but like there's maintenance that has to be done.
Absolutely. And that is the number one reason why I feel like a lot of people, I don't want to say get the reputation of you're not a very active person on Instagram, but that will give people an insight as to how much you manage your Instagram. So if I go to follow you and then I don't get a follow request back from you until 2 weeks later, I'm like, oh, they're clearly not very active on Instagram, right? So the commenting and things like that creates that conversation aspect. Just like if someone were to comment with a question on your business page after you had posted something about a VA loan, you want to open up that conversation because then it's a dialogue and I can make someone my friend, by virtue of just answering their questions. So yes, Jen, that's a huge factor that a lot of people struggle with is the maintenance of answering every question, going back to people's comments and liking them and saying, thanks so much, or something to let them know that you saw that they interacted with your page is a big deal in terms of keeping your followers.
So if you were to focus, like, let's say someone is either getting started or even me, I mean, I'm not even really that advanced. I think of more things that we could be doing. Are Instagram and Facebook really the best platforms? Like, I don't even do anything with LinkedIn. I'm going to be honest. I mean, we post on it, but I just don't how can you keep up with all the commenting and it's like a full-time job.
Yes, absolutely. I would say yes, Jen, Instagram and Facebook are the best for the product and the people that we serve. Yes, those are the best engines. I do think that LinkedIn is very important from the aspect of recruiting team members or adding people to your forces. If you're doing any type of job recruiting, accolades, things like you winning something or philanthropically giving back, those things always look great on LinkedIn because it is more of a business professionals network. So utilizing that aspect of it, maybe you only get on and post once a week and that's okay, or once every 2 weeks, but staying active on LinkedIn is a good thing from the business connections standpoint. So if you can focus on the two of both Instagram and Facebook, I feel like are about half business, half pleasure, right? It's about 50% of people are finding you for the reason that they need you for, and about 50% are finding you because they want to interact with you or they want to see what's going on in your life. On LinkedIn, it's more of a business connections type of network. I need to know Jen because she has this product and I want to know how to interact with her product. That's more of the LinkedIn mentality.
Okay.
Gotcha. Good questions. Anybody else have anything? Bonnie, Tarl, anybody have any questions?
You said max 5 stories a day, but what's the minimum? To get, decent engagement, I mean, 1?
I would try and at least do a story a day. Yes. And that people following what the research says, people check Instagram, businesses check Instagram or post to Instagram once a day. So if you're at least doing a story a day, great, you're there. If you can do multiple stories a day, even better, but there's a break-even point, right? We want to do enough to saturate, but I don't want to get scrolled past. And I don't want to be that person. It's just like every other, engine or even just in life in general. I don't want to be that person that's known for posting 30 stories a day, because what happens then is when people get to your bubble, they scroll automatically. They're like, oh, no. She posts 30 stories a day. Let's keep scrolling. So don't be that person either, right? We don't want to be the one who's known as, golly, does she have a job even? So I think that there's a balance and you can't just go from 0 to 60, right? You can't jump on after having done no stories and do 20 in a day. Just take it easy, do 1 a day until you feel like you could do 2 or 3. And it's all based on your followers, right? So there's a really cool way. I'm going to show you guys. I hope you can see it on the screen. I'm going to show you some screenshots that I took. I'm going to try and hold it up on my camera here. This was our stories. I was just interested in how many people had viewed our stories. So at the back end of can you kind of see it? Yeah.
Yeah.
So this is the legacy. This is legacy stories that I have posted in the last, I think 30 days. I think this is last 30 days up there. So in the back of your insights, you can find under insights, you get to see, and I'll show you guys where to find this. Let me go to the Legacies Instagram and show you guys where to find this. Okay, so here's our Instagram. Oh, look who came right up. First person on there. So Legacies Instagram here. This is just, if say this was on your page, right, or your Instagram channel, and you're going to go down to your little icon in the corner, bottom corner, yourself, and you're going to click on that, and you'll see the little hamburger comes up at the top. See the hamburger that comes up? Go to the hamburger, and when you click on the hamburger, you should see, hello, you should see this screen pop up. It's like another menu, right? And you'll see on there, the second one is third one down is Insights. Okay, can you guys see that? Click on Insights. And when you click on Insights, this is kind of like your website analytics for your Instagram account. This has all of the goodies.
Settings, is that where I just lost?
I'm sorry, no, you're okay. So you're gonna go to, you see settings, archive, and insights. Go to Insights. Click on the Insights tab.
Got it.
And then once you click on Insights, you're going to get this whole thing that shows you basically the analytics behind what happens on your Instagram account, right? So it's got all of the people that have interacted. It shows if you did have a story, how many people have watched it. So this is like your dashboard of what's gone on your Instagram account. This is where I go oftentimes to just figure out when people are looking at our stuff or who's looking at our stuff. You can also create promotions from here or create videos. But if you see at the top, it says last 7 days, and you can toggle down and you could say you want to see the last 30 days, right? Because that gives us a little bit more data. So if you click on last 30 days, then that gives us a little bit more data to look at.
What's a good number for the people that you're reaching? Because I got to the page that has all my little boxes, and it's got the number in black. It's like 353, 321, 213. Yes. Like what's a good number? What's a crappy number?
It's based on the amount of total followers that you have. So go back to your total followers to see.
Yeah, like 89. So, I mean,
okay, perfect. So I would try, if you're doing good on your saturation, you should be saturating at least 20% of your people. So if you're at 889, whatever 20% of 889 is, should be about the number that you look for. If not, you're kind of falling on deaf ears, right?
So, hey, in the chat, there was another,
okay.
You use Canva to create you use Canva, right?
I do. I love Canva. I'm so glad someone said that. Yeah,
and by the way, y'all, I know for a fact that we use Canva too, and we have a template, one for Instagram, one for Facebook, because the sizes are different. So like before we did that, like a year ago, we would just use one picture, and when it posts to the different social media outlets, it chops it or it contorts it, and it was like, oh my gosh. So you literally have to do a different, I mean, well, you don't have to, but if you want it to look better.
Yes. And I highly recommend that. And the great thing about Canva is, one, it's super cheap. Two, it's so easy to use from your phone. You don't have to get on a computer at all. So you realtors that are driving around in the car and you're like, I need to post a story, but this girl told me I needed to brand it. You can jump on Canva and you can very quickly and easily grab a background that's already pre-made, or you can create your own that has your own unique color and everything. I love Canva. I use it for everything. The great thing, like Jen said, is that it does subdivide it by network. So when you get on it, you can select Instagram story. It will automatically give you a template that sizes it for your Instagram story. So you don't have to worry about anything when it comes to sizing. You just put your data in, you put everything in there, you save it to your camera roll, you pull up your Instagram, you click on photo, it goes right there, right? If you only have one Instagram account, you can even connect it so you go directly from the Canva engine to posting it to your story or your feed. Okay.
Oh, wow. So Canva has like, I guess, Michelle, I got to put the Canva app on my phone. Okay.
Yes. I love Canva.
Gotcha.
I know every realtor I've done a talk with has like, I love Canva. It's a big engine that takes a little while for you to know how to use, but let me pull up my Canva just to show you guys how many projects I have in there. And it's so quick and easy to use. It's one of my favorite engines. I'm so glad that you mentioned
it. On Zoom, we might not be able to do it today but okay. On Zoom, you can project your phone, right?
Yeah, absolutely. That would be the thing to do. And I am able to do that when I do a big, When I do a big presentation on a big screen, I'm able to do that. But here's just some of the Canva projects. So I have a ton of different ones in Canva. And I use Canva, I mean, all the time. It's great.
Yeah, it makes everything look really crisp and clean and nice.
And you can add your logo to it. You can pick your branding colors. It's a great way for you to get started. If you're wondering, like, where do I even start? Perfect place to get started.
Well, very good, Jenny. We'll just do one last call for questions. And this was just enough. I mean, I know we could get way, way more advanced, but there's so much to talk about. But thank you. And we'll send the recording to everybody that attended and the presentation as well. Can you send us the PDF? On the
Absolutely.
PDF that you send us, will it be able to hyperlink the
Yes, ma'am.
the different links to watch the videos? Okay, cool. Well, thank you everybody for popping on. Last chance to raise a question if you've got one. Or you can
And Jen and Michelle, feel free to share my contact information with anybody that might be on or that missed it and wants, some insight. I'm happy to do one-on-ones with anybody via Zoom as well.
Yeah.
And you guys are going to send out the presentation, correct?
Yes.
Yeah,
Yes.
I like desperately. I mean, I didn't ask questions because, first of all, I couldn't find my mute button whenever you were saying, "Is anyone else?" And secondly, like most of this was way past my abilities in Instagram. And so I really wanted to see that video that you said there's a link to it in your presentation to at least, it's like overwhelming.
That's okay, Bonnie. And hey, I'm always happy to jump on and help you personally with just your account. I try to offer that to all of Jen and Michelle's people. If there's something that you feel like I just can't, a presentation like this is just overwhelming, right? Because it's so much at once and I'm not even where these people are yet. I'm happy to jump on and do a one-on-one and start where your level of confidence and comfort is on your social media channels.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
Thank you, Jenny. She's like the legacybomb.com. We're so lucky to have her.
That's
so
awesome.
much for being on with us today, everybody. So
Legacy Mutual Mortgage is an equal housing opportunity lender. The opinions expressed here do not reflect those of Legacy Mutual Mortgage.